Replay days, of course, back tomorrow. Look at the size of this card. Just
3 parties. That would be with Labour and with Desmond O'Malley's Progressive Democrats, who were in the last government for 3 years with Fianna Fáil. It's one of the closest races, even in Ireland's traditionally tight electoral system.
Riot police are standing by in Paris as thousands of French farmers gather to demonstrate against the GATT trade deal agreed between Europe and the United States. The French Parliament, the National Assembly, will debate the agreement this afternoon.
Throughout the night, demonstrations continued in towns across France as farmers made plain their opposition to the planned GATT deal. In Chateaubriand, near Nantes, in western France, their action was typical. Tyres were burnt and produce dumped in the streets. Later today, the farmers bring their protests to Paris, where the National Assembly is due to consider the deal between the United States and the European Community. Hardly a voice has been raised to back that deal. The farmers are in no mood to be coaxed into accepting an agreement. Last night, one militant splinter group threatened to start intercepting lorries carrying farm produce from a number of countries, including Britain, which it blames for the GATT deal.
20 people have been slightly injured in a collision between 2 commuter trains at London Bridge Station this morning. The injuries were caused by flying glass. 11 people have been taken to hospital. 4 London stations were closed, leading to widespread disruption for commuters in the capital. The Department of Transport is to start an inquiry into the accident. For the first time, the United Nations will deploy peacekeepers to the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia. The Security Council agreed to a request by the Secretary-General, Dr. Boutros Ghali, to send a small team on an exploratory mission. The European Court of Justice says Britain is guilty of failing to meet community drinking water standards. Nitrate levels are said to exceed EC standards in many areas of England. The court rejected the government's claim that it had taken all practicable steps to improve drinking water. That's all for now. The next news is at 11.
Hello, good morning to you from Look North. The hearing over British Coal's pit closure programme enters its 5th day at the High Court today. The NUM leader, Arthur Scargill, has accused the government of a cover-up after it applied for public interest orders to prevent leaked documents being produced in court. Meanwhile, senior figures from the trade union movement are in Doncaster today to show support for mining communities under threat from pit closures. It's the first time the TUC has held its General Council meeting outside London. The TUC General Secretary, Norman Willis, is leading the union delegation, which will meet with council and business leaders before visiting local collieries. The inquest opens today into the deaths of 2 17-year-old West Yorkshire boys who were killed when they were hit by a train. Paul Smith and Stephen Cox died as they rode a scrambling bike alongside the rail track at Murfield on Monday. Finally, the Princess Royal is touring Humberside today. She'll meet staff and volunteers at a Save the Children fun shop in Hull, and she'll visit the National Fishing Heritage Centre in Grimsby. Those are the main stories in brief. Headlines again if you can join me just after 11 o'clock. The weather forecast for today: sunshine and showers, some of them heavy, top temperatures still mild, 11 Celsius, 52 Fahrenheit. The national picture this morning comes from Michael Fish.
Good morning. There's some very nasty weather on the way, more particularly to southern parts of the country, as there not only be heavy rain, but there could well be some gales or even some storm force winds giving damage, more particularly across parts of Kent and Sussex. There's what's going to cause it, already looming large out there on the Atlantic. By earlier on this evening, we're going to have an area of low pressure, and that's going to be running across southern counties very close to London and then out into the North Sea. It'll pack in those isobars and it'll bring the strong winds. It's going to be a windy day by and large, but those strong winds beginning to pick up this evening, running along the English Channel, severe gales there, and I think clipping onto some of those coastal counties as well, before eventually they ease off and move out of the way. Now, the latest radar shows a fair number of showers, particularly in central and western areas. Some of them are heavy with hail and thunder, and they're going to continue to filter eastwards during the course of the morning. Some sunshine around as well. Showers in the southwest dying away as the cloud gathers. By lunchtime, the first of the rain, I think, showing up, and during this afternoon into this evening, turning very wet indeed across the southern half of the country. Some heavy rain in many places. We've already seen those gale force winds as well. Temperature's not bad as far as the numbers are concerned, but it will feel quite cold, especially in the wind and later in the rain. A wet start in southern areas, very windy in places, clearing up though later in the night, and that's all.
It's a case of telepathy for twins Annie and Sylvie.
I was doing the okey-cokey in Mustake and her shoe flew off in Sainsbury's. I can sense distress in people. Yeah, so can Lassie.
I felt things you were feeling.
Have you?
Many times.
Was it good for you, Sylv?
Sitting Pretty, tomorrow 8:30 on BBC1.